Hello, everyone. What a nice treat to be in Rio. It's our first time in South America, so this is great. I wish we actually had more time here. It's beautiful. But let's get started. There's actually a bunch of interesting things to go over and talk about, and want to talk about very briefly that 2017 was the year of the coin. You know, we've talked over the last 18 months about what one of our focuses was to bring the crypto to the mainstream, and it's getting there. You can see this coin market cap graph over the past year. The massive rise, the massive adoption. Industry is 700 billion in size. The trades have gone from roughly 100 million, a little over $100 million a day, to some of the days now are over $50 billion a day in trades. But last year was also exciting for us as a alliance of companies. We had an amazing number of successes, growth, and things happen in our ecosystem. But as Michael mentioned yesterday, 2018 is really the year of the ecosystem. But what does that mean? You know, to us, it means many of the things that are up on the screen. But when you break it down and look at it, it really is about financial technology at this stage. And 2018, we're going to see many developments, many deployments, many activities that cause material change, not only in the things that we're doing collectively, but in all of our lives. Crypto has really enriched us, but fintech is going to impact us. And fintech already gives us the ability to go to a grocery store, fill the shopping cart with groceries, walk out without removing the items from the cart to pay. It just automatically gets paid. But if you look into the future and where it's going and how all of these things that are going to be developed over the next several years, how they come together. For example, if we look at a future world with self-driving automobiles, as you're getting in your car, you might say, okay, I need to be at home in a hurry. Your car making use of cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, smart contracts, running on Internet of Things technology, there's going to be money essentially swirling around our lives. And we won't actually interact with that money. It will just use artificial intelligence to know that it's allowed to spend the money that you have. So when you tell your car that you need to get home in a hurry today, as it's driving along, it's using that artificial intelligence and analysis to choose, for example, what lane it drives in. So your car may make payments on your behalf to drive in the fast lane. And as it's doing that, you get home on time. That'd be good, wouldn't it, Jackie, if I got home on time? But, but interestingly, as that money is swirling around, it's not only going out, it's also coming in, and you can accept payments in the same way. And so other people may not be in as much of a hurry, and so their car can opt to drive in the slightly slower lane, and they may actually receive compensation for driving in that lane, while those that are paying it transfers to them. And it's these types of things that I think our world is going to evolve into. It's going to be dynamic. That's not going to be always set. It will change fluidly. And you're going to see massive, massive rises in how all of these worlds come together. And so when you hear things like, it's a bubble, there's nothing behind it, all the various comments that you hear from some that don't fully understand this space, it's incredibly exciting when you look at the future and the potential use cases and applications. And I've said at a number of the events recently, get involved, get creative, think of ideas. There's going to be many iterations and many things that are coming that are going to change how we do things, because again, crypto has enriched us, but fintech will impact us. So I want to talk a bit about, more specifically, some of the things that DOS Financial is going to be working on in the next, is already working on and is going to be working on throughout 2018. We're well underway with exchange technology and our activities there that I'll talk about in a minute. We have been very, very active in the payment technology space, so with DOS Pay, which definitely will be the preeminent payment solution. I'll talk about that next. We're through a London office, which will be the ecosystem's third office in London. We're going to be providing advisory services. We're going to be providing advisory services for many things, but one of the things that is key is ICOs. We're going to be, we're working on, I think we all know that payments in and various things as it relates to our ecosystem are a challenge, especially from some countries more so than others. There's some very interesting solutions out there, and there's this whole rapid growth category that I actually put up on a screen a couple of events ago that is generally referred to as challenger banks. And so we're working on a digital challenger bank solution that would enable us to onboard clients from 150 countries in less than 2 minutes type thing. So all of this is being worked on. We hope to announce more, and hopefully, if things go really well, that we'll have good clarity on that in the second half of this year. There's a lot of work to do there, a lot of regulatory, but that's going to open up a world of opportunities, and that actually forms a bridge between the legacy banking world and the crypto world. So that's well served. This is becoming well served, and there's this bridge between the two that needs to be worked on. And the other thing that we're spending some time on investigating and really identifying the opportunities is in the whole world of AI, and not AI generally, but specifically as it relates to financial services. And so that's going to be make for an interesting year. And AI is one of the spaces that doesn't have quite as much attention, but almost as much attention as crypto does. So let's talk about DOS Pay, and just to give everyone a little bit of a status update on where we're at with it. This is the slide that everyone has seen, especially everyone in this room has seen a bunch of times. You know the features. We're really actually working with, we've had the guys from Carta. They were in Singapore recently. They were in Belgrade recently, Brian Samcu and Rui Mendez. We were really hoping that Rui, who's a citizen of Portugal, was going to make it to this event, but schedules didn't work out, and he would have been great to speak here because of his Portuguese background. But we're challenging them, we're challenging some of the other partner companies in this space to really push the envelope in terms of innovative solutions. And we're working on some amazing things that no one else is doing. And I can't wait till those are formal and official so that we can share those. But that is happening as we speak. You may have read some news online about Visa and canceling cards related to the crypto space. I'm not sure if you followed that fully, but there is a card issuing company called Wavecrest, and Visa canceled its relationship with Wavecrest. Visa does not have a problem with cryptocurrency. So if there's fears, questions, concerns, not a problem. Apparently, according to Visa, Wavecrest has not been compliant with their terms and conditions. It's just a normal business thing, so nothing to worry about. There have been a bunch of questions that have come in about what's happening in that realm. There's not a worry. So things are moving forward as planned. So the journey, as we talked about in the past, we need to grow the network, which we're doing. 2018, like Michael referred to, actually I think it was Richard that talked about a 10x growth. That'll be great. The bigger the network, the better, as it relates to DasPay, because it gives us the efficiencies needed. I talked about the tech integration that is happening. As we talk, they're working on that side of it. On Feb 28th, that is the next official planned update, and it's going to be on the webcast that Michael McGee was talking about, so the Wednesday webcast with Preto. I will be on there, maybe others will be on there. We'll be giving some good updates related to a few things, including the ICO. So we don't have regulatory approval yet, and we won't proceed with the ICO until we have regulatory approval. I think we will get it, but we need that. Hopefully, we can give a good update then. There's an amazing marketing plan that I'm not going to talk about because we have James, Ed, Pascal that have done some phenomenal work here, so thank you guys. Don't miss that, because I think we should have some exciting things to share on that date. During this time frame, we're going to be listed on some public exchanges, and we need to work on the liquidity in order to make DasPay work when we're in Vegas. Hey, Michael, Michael McGee, what's your address? Are you hosting a party at your house when we're in Vegas? Oh yeah? Perfect. Okay, good. Pool party at Michael's house. So second quarter, that's when we're going to, assuming all things are on track, which continue to be on track, we'll launch in Vegas. So now let's talk about DasCoin going public. Woo! Right? It's going to be an amazing year. We have a strategy, we have plans, we have some communication, we're engaged and engaging in strategies and conversations to have DasCoin listed on, ultimately, as many exchanges as possible. Some of the exchanges by design will be a challenge, others will be welcoming, and we are not going to announce the exchanges that we're on until the London event. But know that we are working on getting on as many exchanges as possible, and that won't be a short-term project, that'll be an ongoing project. On top of that, we're working on, which we've been talking about, essentially an exchange that we're using a code name for right now, and we just call it Project Apex. And that is very exciting. It's going very well. We have this interesting structure and opportunity that we're introducing to the world of crypto, because crypto has not behaved. Most crypto exchanges have kind of almost grown organically out of people's basements, and some of them have become pretty big entities, but we're taking a different approach in the sense that because we're looking at institutions, because we're looking at fully regulated, fully compliant, we have a plan to utilize a clearing corporation. This would be a licensed, fully compliant clearing corp. That clearing corp, or clearinghouse some might call it, will be issuing, and I don't know if you've heard the use of the term stablecoin. That is essentially a token that is pegged to a currency. We'll be pegging it to the US dollar, so we can onboard clients through the clearing corp. They would come in, they would receive these stable coins, and they could move those stable coins to the exchange. Another huge benefit is when those stable coins are on the exchange, whether you, the original purchaser, or someone else on that exchange platform wants to get money out, and I don't know if you've tried to get money out of Bittrex or Polynex or one of those, you can move your crypto out, but you certainly can't get fiat out. But you could acquire those stable coins, which one would be equal to $1 US, and you would transfer them to the clearing corp. So they're almost like a bearer bond, and you would withdraw your money. It is going to enable people to seamlessly, easily, and in a regulated manner get fiat out of exchanges. So that's going to be very, very powerful. We're also going to have that done. It's going to be on a blockchain. It is a token. It's going to be very transparent. Any money, so there is one other that follows a similar, well, follows this general concept, but it's got some inherent design flaws. We will be having those funds that go in against that will actually go into segregated accounts, which is just a way of keeping the depositor's money separate from everything else. And that is going to be very powerful and shake up this industry. In some cases, that stablecoin can be made available to other exchanges, and that's going to give us a lot of leverage in this space. We're going to have multiple cryptocurrencies. We're also going to have fiat available, which most don't. We're going to be creating derivatives or pairs, contracts for differences, and so on. We have an exceptional marketing team putting together a very powerful marketing plan. And again, thanks to James, Ed, and team, Pascal, and it's great. So I won't talk about that right now. We have a world-class advisory team. There's about 10 people from different parts of the world that are working on collaborating to bring this together. And it includes people like the former vice president and head of security for FXCM. So it includes probably one of the leading global technologists in this space, and interestingly enough, had many years as a FX trader with Deutsche Bank. We have in London, we have a team that has 20 some odd years of experience in this space, ran very big businesses. They have tremendous relationships with the liquidity providers and so on. And so they're going to bring a lot of professionalism. They're FCA compliant. They've run huge teams, so huge broker networks built from scratch in Russia, China, Switzerland, France, United Kingdom, and Australia. And so that's going to be very powerful and help us to achieve a lot of the things, not only to drive volume on this exchange, but a bunch of things within that realm are going to, of course, be used to help drive the value of DasCoin. And because we need to work on things like demand, utility, develop scarcity, and hopefully create capital appreciation, which is what we all want, and with good liquidity. So for example, Blair's sort of leading the charge on developing a investment-grade, insurance-wrapped, crypto-based product that would appeal to institutions and retail traders or investors, and that is going to be incredible. It's not been done yet, and that crypto asset, of course, is going to be DasCoin. So that's like absolutely amazing stuff. In the world of ICOs, if we look at some of the things that we want to achieve in this world, right now we have 13 million or so coins. So there's 400 and some odd million minted. There's about 13 or 14 million, somewhere in there, 13 million, that have been moved into the hot wallet. So call that circulating supply. So by the time the exchange is launched, who knows how many are going to be out there, but let's say there's 40 million in circulating supply. That's not a big number. And right now we're at 50 plus cents, which would make that a market cap of $20 million, or 20 million euros in our case. But if we do even a single ICO on our platform, where investors in the ICO participate by utilizing DasCoin as the investment asset, if it's $20 million and there's only 20 million in circulation, what's that going to do? Right? That's going to cause the price to rise. It's going to create liquidity opportunities. It's going to, of course, create demand. Because of the value rising, it creates the hoarding concept for some that aren't really interested in selling. So that'll help to create scarcity. Michael has talked lots about the deep vault contracts that we're doing. And so there's many things that we're going to begin deploying this year. And so that's going to be incredibly exciting. And so there is a sophisticated, capable team participating and driving a lot of this. And I can't wait. So now I want to talk about and introduce you to someone. Actually, before I do that, there will be a webcast on Wednesday, February 7th, for more updates related to the exchange. So that plan for, because things are happening fast there. So now I want to introduce you to someone who is, you can look at his list of credentials there, but very well educated, very well connected. He's got incredible experience in this entire realm. London-based, he's an incredible, very genuine person, and if you've met Matthew Roxborough Smith, you like him. If you haven't, you definitely want to meet him. I'd like to invite the president of DAS Financial, Matthew Roxborough Smith, on stage to say a few words now. Thank you, Matt. I've had the pleasure of working with Matt for 5 months now, and it's been an absolute pleasure. So thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure from my side as well, Terry.
Thank you. There's
Cheers.
a bromance. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Terry, for the great introduction. And oh, I don't have any slides. Bom dia, Rio. I'm hugely excited, thrilled, in fact, to be here and to be part of DAS Financial and the greater DAS ecosystem. And Terry's done a fantastic job of explaining what we're up to at DAS Financial, talking about some of the major projects that we're working on. And I really just wanted to add a couple words about ICOs in particular. And Terry's touched on ICOs in his presentation, but I wanted to specifically talk about third-party ICOs. Oh, have I moved that forward? It's a bit early for the finish. As you know, DAS Financial is responsible for working with third-party ICOs that want to come into the DAS ecosystem. And one of the key attributes that we look for in potential ICOs is, what are the benefits that they can bring to the DAS ecosystem? Now, we've been fortunate. We've looked at a number of ICOs. Some have not met our criteria, which admittedly is quite lofty, and we aim to keep it that way. But some have. And so we've been very fortunate to work with some extremely talented individuals with some great ideas. And as we continue to work with them in assessing their third-party ICOs and what they can bring to our network, we're going to share that with you in the next coming months. And what I really want to do as a finisher here is to encourage you and the people in your network to bring your great ideas to us. If you have a great idea for an ICO and you've fleshed it out, bring it to us. And similarly, if you have someone in your downline that has a great idea, bring it to us. And even if you have someone outside of the network, well, first of all, bring them into the network, but then have them bring their great ideas to us. So anyway, obrigado, everybody. Thank you very much, and look forward to a fantastic year ahead.